And there it is. All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here tonight. Already got some people in the chat chatting it up. Welcome to Hall Yeah Comics. It is a live comic hangout with some of my very good friends from the internet and from real life. So going that way, we've got Hagan from Lettuce Comics. Below him is Jacob from Bone Claws Comics. And then underneath me is my real life friend, Eric, joining us for the first time. This is his first internet appearance, or first appearance on our YouTube anyway.
Yeah.
That I know. Feet pics don't count. You have to show your face.
Oh, I show.
Yeah, there's that viral clip of you stomping grapes at a wine tasting contest. But other than that,
Yeah,
this is your first time.
I knew I've seen you somewhere.
I know those feet anywhere. Let's say hello to everybody joining us. Mr. Akins, we were just talking about you. There's Mr.
We're already
Akins from What's on
thoroughly
the
off the
Comic
rails,
Rack.
Mr. Akins.
Son of Crom, hey buddy, thanks for being here. And then Matt, you're gonna like some books I've got to show off tonight, and it's the Coach. Don't put us in. I'm not ready. I'm not not athletic. And then David from Still Only 35 Cents. Greetings from the other side of the planet, my friend. Thanks for being here, everybody. And Steve Driscoll.
Hey, Steve.
He's a personal favorite of everybody here. Not that the rest of you aren't. I promise. All right. So Eric and I went to a small convention this weekend put on by the Knights of Columbus. We've gone a couple of times. It's like every 3 months, is it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's not the Simpsons, Bi-Mon-Sci-Fi-Con. It's Tri-Mon-Sci-Fi-Con. And we've gone a couple of times, and this time, I mean, I filled like half a short box. I could have been much worse. There were a lot of dollar books. And I really think at that one booth, Eric, if I could have if I just had more money, I would have went up there and I would have walked away with a long box of Warlord and 90s Drek. I mean, it was $1 a book, but I know if I would have said, $100 for a long box, they would have let me walk. But I did restrain myself.
I mean, you left about this much Warlord left.
Those are the ones I thought
you gotta spread the love,
Yeah. So what's everybody up to? Hagan, everyone keeps asking me about you. Like, how's he doing? How you doing?
Well, we are married, so
yes.
Yeah. I'm planning on shooting a video tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be able to edit it the same day. I don't know when that's going to come out, but I'm okay. I dealt with some personal stuff, and just as soon as I got the motivation back to I'm gonna make another video and it's gonna be great, we got walloped by a hurricane where I live, and we lost power for 4 days, didn't have internet for 5 of them. And so making a YouTube video about the stuff that I have to my right wasn't really high up on my priority list. But I have still I've kept doing things like this, not as frequently, but I've kept doing things like this just because I want to stay connected with everybody. I really enjoy hanging out with everybody that I get to do a stream with. So yeah, I'm good. You can tell them that your wife is okay.
I will. And by everybody else that you get to do a stream with, you mean, but not as much as us. But not as much as us.
If it makes you feel better, sweetie.
Jacob, how are you, buddy?
Good. Been busy. Kind of life stuff. Haven't put out a video in 2 months, so I've got a couple recorded, but the desire to edit,
yeah,
it's by the end of the day I'm exhausted, so
yeah,
it's hard to do it.
And then Eric, you doing okay?
Oh yeah, not too bad today, thanks. Yeah.
All right. Well, like I said, Eric and I just went to a show. I have more books to show than I possibly could. Does anybody want to go first?
You already made yourself big, so you might as well.
Well, that's
Yeah.
just the default. I'm happy to give it up. Okay, here we go. Ready for some Silver Age goodness. I showed this one off on Instagram today. This is Superman Riches to Rags. He is Uncle Scrooge Superman with like a cane. He's got a chauffeur and a car, and then he's destitute. He's living in front of what looks like a converted outhouse shack, cooking beans, and he's got a hole in his sock, which is just everybody's favorite part. Eric passed on this, and Matt says he has this book. I didn't like this story. The Supergirl backup story was way better, where she's like on a green Earth and she doesn't have any powers and she has to be smart about how she beats her foe. But the Superman story wasn't great, but the cover's amazing. Speaking of amazing covers in Supergirl, so in this one, I don't know what's happening. This guy has the execution buzzard, and he is some kind of Magneto pink ghost demon, and his name is the Diabolical Dr. Supernatural, and he has summoned his execution buzzard to wipe out Superman. I haven't started this one yet, but I'm really hoping that I mean, we all know the legacy of the Diabolical Dr. Supernatural. So,
I mean, you're not a comic book fan if you don't know the legacy of the Diabolical Dr. Supernatural.
But look at that buzzard. Like it looks like a rubber chicken, right? Like that looks like a jokey rubber chicken, that yellow skin.
Yeah. It looks like one of Dr. Seuss's sleep paralysis demons.
It's insane. I've got more. Okay, I do want to show this one just because it's Bizarro. I love Bizarro, and a Bizarro Titano, the giant ape, evil ape that fights Superman all the time. I did get a couple of body transformation covers, and this is one of them. I've had this one on my list for a while. This is the Fat Superboy, and Lana Lang is so fat she's stuck in a phone booth. And Superboy has to to rescue her. He's moving the phone booth. I love this cover. When I started collecting like body transformation and looking into these, that was one that was on my list. This is one I know Matt has, and this was on my list. This is an Adventure Comics Superboy and the Super Moby Dick of space. So that the big Moby Dick of space back there eats Lightning Lad's arm off. That's why he has a metal arm, and he continues to have a metal arm for a while because his arm got eaten off by the Super Moby Dick of space.
I'm still stunned by the name Super Moby Dick of space.
I hope that Dr. Diabolical rode the Super Moby Dick of space one day.
Yeah.
I don't know what this one is. This is just another Legion, but the reason it made it into my pile was because it's got people with a guy transforming into a cat and a guy with a cone head. So I was all about getting that. Jimmy Olsen. Here's one where Jimmy's making a movie. He's making a Godzilla King Kong movie, and Superman's in it. Is there anything Jimmy cannot do? Like, he flies the helicopter. He's always doing, going undercover. This is Jimmy Olsen, 111, where he's fighting the Ugly Superman, which is a wrestling character. And he's just stretchy as all get out. Look at that elasticness. 2 more Silver Age. 2 more? Yeah, 2 more. And I'm ending with some good ones. So this is a famous cover. Jimmy Olsen 115, Neil Adams cover, where Superman is denying Aquaman and Jimmy water in the desert. So a long time ago, before Hayden was born in the internet, we used to have this thing called superdickery.com, where that was just like Superman covers of like Superman being a jerk. And this is one of them. And this one I would say is like I wouldn't say it's a grail, but it's definitely one that I didn't think I was going to get to pick up. So 10 Cent Lois Lane, number 11. And it's, Jungle Good Girl, the leopard girl of the jungle, Lois Lane. To get one that early, a 10 Cent Lois Lane. And he had 30 on it. And I said, how about 20? And he said, how about 25? So I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. So I had no problem. You know, this is my second lowest lane. And those were my Silver Age pickups from the con.
One thing that I love about this group, and Eric, because we were talking before, I'm sure that you fall into this too. Every single one of this will pick up what is like lovely, delectable, random bullshit that we so enjoy. And because we so enjoy it, the rest of us also enjoy it. Like, I would not, if I didn't know Nate, I wouldn't give any of those books a second look. But because I know, because I have now like talked to and know like the kind of stuff that Nate's into, I have grown in appreciation for, like, I will see a body transformation cover and I'm like, that makes me think about my husband, you know, like it's just like y'all stick with me.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw some Namors and looked off into the distance for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jacob's face appeared as
I was gonna say it's just like this little silhouette.
I don't know why you hate on Namor so much. He's freaking awesome.
I mean, who was awesome to build up all of that? Yeah.
I'm gonna say hi to Renegade and Christopher Parker. They jumped in real quick before we get going. All right, who's going next? Who's got something to show me? Come on,
I can go.
All right.
So we're talking about like random delectable bullshit, and I have 3 books that I found in a dollar bin. No, sorry, one of them was $3, and you'll understand why I had to pay $3 for it. In a dollar bin that I don't know anything about any of these books, and I intentionally didn't learn about them because I wanted to talk to you guys about them. This is the Ferret #1.
God damn it!
That hair, it's so beautiful.
How is that a thing?
So we've
Wow.
the ferret, obviously, and we've got, I guess, Kong Pan there, not Kingpin, but Kong Pan, and then I don't even know, like early concept art for a Power Rangers villain, and then you have ninjas in the background, and they have the hair that is frosted tips, like they haven't made it to the second session at their salon yet, but. Like, I saw this in a dollar bin and immediately was like, it's mine. I have to have it. It's in a gorgeous 9.8 as well.
That's beautiful. Is that a Malibu comic?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
It's got that giant M right there on the top of it. That is the only thing that I know about it. That, and it's the ferret. And I use a League of Comic Collector Geeks to catalog all my stuff. When I went to go catalog this is like, it's the #1 super collectible first edition. It is the only ferret book that is in that, at least that volume. There is not another one. So I think
there's no ferret #2.
Yeah, I think the Giga mullet was just too much for publishers and society in general at the time.
I mean, there's no way that thing didn't sell when it came out.
I mean, you know,
that hair is insane. Insane.
Amazing. And so now
I wonder if he smells.
I'm sure. Oh my God, I'm sure.
That funky ferret smell.
Oh man, there's
everyone knows
way
when he's
he
coming.
Doesn't smell like a Missouri dive bar. There's zero way.
Now, what about the hair? In his regular identity, does he like hide in a ponytail like Clark Kent did when he had the mullet?
You know, when I pour over this book with a fine-tooth comb, which I'm going to, I will let you know.
We all need to know as much as possible about the ferret.
I think that his like daily life was going to be in like issue 6 or 7 once he was really established, and yeah, they had to hook you at first. This is a comic book with Jack Kirby art, and it's this.
Oh.
I've seen that one before.
This is Topps Night Glider #1. The only thing that I know, again, the only thing that I know about any of these books is that this is very obviously Kirby, because that head is unmistakable as far as like a Kirby shape. Come on, Glare. Yeah, that is Kirby for sure. And Jack Kirby has this habit of drawing the head and then drawing the body, and they almost line up. Not quite, but it's almost there. But we love Jack Kirby, so we give him a pass on that. But yeah, so this is a Topps Kirby Chrome Night Glider #1.
That's interesting because Topps usually does like movie and TV comic books, not usually their own original characters. So that's actually a pretty neat find.
And it's Topps. I bet there's a Night Glider card out there somewhere.
I promise you there is.
There has to be a Night Glider card out there. But I have saved the best book of these three for last. This is a Now Comics #1 with a trading card. It is Mr. T and the T-Force #1 with art by Neil Adams.
What?
Why was I not told about this?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that this book existed. This is the $3 book. I saw this and I had to have it. They could have slapped $10 on it and I would have paid.
Neil Adams does the interior art of that book.
I would suppose so. Here's the trading card.
Oh, that is foily.
Yeah, it's got, I mean, obviously the chains are foily. The T and T-Force is foily. And let's crack this open and see if we can recognize the Neil Adams-y goodness.
Eric and I were just talking about how late Neil Adams is very different from 70s Neil Adams.
I just opened this book for late Neil Adams.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. T looks okay-ish.
I unconditionally love this book.
Yeah. I think even with late Neil Adams work, it's worth having.
Oh, easily. It wasn't even a question.
Yeah, those you were not kidding, man. You brought some random gold today.
Yeah, I brought some heat today,
you
fellas.
Did. I always have my pad to write things down, and the only thing on there right now is the ferret.
I mean, surely they printed a bajillion of those things. Surely.
I don't know. Yeah, I wonder too, like Jacob said, so many of those Topps books that you find are always some kind of licensed property. Probably because the license they had for cards might have let them do, something else for print. But yeah, original, but maybe who knows? I mean, everybody was making comics.
I would imagine that they had some sort of deal with Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
And I will research this because you're right, it is a Topps comic. I would imagine that they did like a special run of Jack Kirby art cards, which would be super cool to find. And I hope they all look like Night Glider. That would be fantastic.
Again, later Jack Kirby is a lot different from earlier Jack Kirby.
Sure is.
All right. Jacob?
Okay, cool.
What you got? What do you have in your beautiful study?
Oh, you like
I love it. I'm very, you're so much more grown up than me.
It really classes up the joint.
It does.
Yeah, it was, it was time to change some things around. So yeah, it's not even close to being done. So I just had to throw up some of these books facing, so it fills up holes in the bookshelf. So yeah, I'm going to organize it and make it look decent.
Matt is letting us know that my comic shop has every issue of the Ferret. I just need the first one for now.
It's a bull market on the Ferret. Bye.
How many issues are there? Like, I thought there was just one.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Anyway, the last con I went to was actually Charlotte Comic-Con a month and a half ago, about maybe 2 months. And I couldn't stay very long, but they had one booth in particular that was absolutely amazing. And I ended up buying just about everything that I got at the con from this one booth. And the prices were ridiculously good. So first up, I have the Man-Thing #1. If I can get that in there.
Very
And I don't
cool.
think I paid more than $10 for any book. So this was maybe $5. I can't remember exactly. So yeah, it's crazy good. The Punisher #1 from the limited series.
He has 6 fingers on his gun hand. If you look at his hand. Doesn't he have an extra pinky?
You are absolutely right. I'm going to do the counting.
That's a foot.
It's that's an every time I see that cover, someone pointed that out, and I cannot unsee it.
I will never unsee this again. Thank you.
He's a polydactyl.
Oh, look at you knowing big words.
I could be wrong, but he may have 6 fingers on the other hand too.
Ooh.
I think this was intentional.
Yeah,
So,
I think he just needs those extra fingers for all the killing that he's doing.
Right, he can't count them on 2 hands. And of course, I would, like Hagan said, I would have never got this next book if it wasn't for really him and Nate. But it's going around like COVID on the internet. But Nomad #1.
Nomad has become malignant, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. What I don't know is it's got the red #1 as opposed to the black ink #1, which I have no idea the significance of it. So
I think it's still just the first printing. I think that's the way because it's fancy.
It's worth an extra 1/10 of a cent.
I don't think that
I'll take it.
I'm not positive, but I don't think there was a second printing of any Nomad book. Shockingly,
Yeah. Strange. Anyway, I don't know anything about the character. The only reason I have this book is because I saw it and I knew that Hagan and Nate had.
And I hope you
Showed
paid
it off.
$1 for it because it's a $1 book all day long.
Yeah, I think I paid $2 for this one.
Okay, that's
So.
good. It's got a gatefold cover. That's
Yeah.
worth $1.
I also got quite a bit of the Demon DC Etrigan.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
I got the #1, and I got
That's cool.
I want to say about 15 or 16 issues of the Demon. I don't think it was this series, but the next volume I got.
Yeah. The
And I
one
also
you're
picked
showing
up-
there's a 4-issue mini.
Yeah, this is a 4-issue
with
mini. Yeah.
Matt Wagner art inside too. I know
I'm
he
not
does
sure.
the covers. I have a few of those. It's a cool
Art
book.
Nichols.
I don't have the full run though.
And because I do like to collect Etrigan, I got Demon Knights #1, New 52, because I missed it when it first came out. So I had to
Yeah,
pick that up.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think you'll dig it.
Yeah. And getting into it, being a fan of Wolverine and collecting Wolverine and Punisher, I had to pick up their first meeting, which is Punisher War Journal. And I didn't have this one. I've seen this at various cons, and people want astronomical amounts of money for it. But I want to say I made $10 for this book, which I think is a pretty good deal.
Heck yeah.
And I also picked up this little nifty thing, Dark Claw.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't have this already, but I didn't, so now I do.
Oh, I think I have
So-
3.
There are only a few of the Amalgam comics that I find interesting. That being said, I want all of them. So yeah, Dark Claw is one of the cooler ones, I think.
Isn't Dark Claw like that's the one everybody knows? Like
Right.
is Dark, the Batman Wolverine. So
Yeah. There was Spider Boy, Super Soldier. Help me out, Eric. You know it better than I do.
Amazon, the Doom Patrol X-Men,
Iron Lantern.
Iron. Yeah.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Ghost Rider Flash hybrid, Speed Demon.
Speed Demon.
Speed Demon.
There was a Dr. Fate, Dr. Strange mix up, but I don't remember what he was called.
Doctor Strange Fate, because I have
Was it
Dr.
Dr.
Strange
Strange Fate? Okay.
It's Doctor. He can team up with Dr. Diabolical.
Yeah.
Matt just bought the entire run of the ferret, so he beat us because he's not on the stream.
It's going to be the next thing. Everybody's going to buy the ferret now. The value of this comic book is going to skyrocket.
Fantastic.
Hey,
Hello,
look at me,
Steven.
Mom. I'm an influencer.
Billy Ray Cyrus for the ferret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
Oh,
good
boy.
stuff.
Matt, I'm so sorry.
I'm not. I can't wait to hear more about it. Yeah, JLX. That's another one, and I do have a few of those. And hey, Christina, and hey, Eric. Side quest. What else you got, Jacob?
Oh, one more. Because I'm a Namor fan, and
Are you?
no, I can't stand the bastard. But I picked up Annual Invaders, King Size Annual #1.
Hey, now.
This stood out to me because it's the Invaders and they fight the Nazis, and I don't have any Nazi covers in my collection at all because the Nazi covers are typically Golden Age and they're a mortgage payment. So
Yeah.
I saw this and like, that's cool, Invaders Nazi cover. I had to pick it up. So
Very cool.
neato. And there's Captain America for you, Hagan.
Yeah, that is unsurprisingly that is one that I'm looking for.
And that's it.
Being told it's a Schomburg cover. That's
Oh,
cool.
so you do get a touch of the Golden Age in there with it. Very nice.
Yeah. All right. FOMO on the ferret. Oh man, I thought we were all gonna get the Aunt May action figure for Christmas. I think it may be issues of the ferret that gets mailed around.
It's going to be a gift bag. It's going to be an issue of Captain America Liefeld and the ferret, and then the Aunt May figure.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is good stuff. All right.
Goldie Odie variant.
Eric, did you bring any books to show off?
Yeah.
Or share anyway? We don't really show off here.
It's more commiserate than anything.
Well, I was gonna just show off a few old ones from my collection, and I remember getting there's a store called Half Price Books, and it used to be the place where I'd go. There's one in Greenwood, Indiana, and it had great deals for finding a lot of nice gems for all on the cheap. But unfortunately, nowadays they've kind of raised the prices more sometimes than what the condition is. But I remember years ago finding this old Spectre 54.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, it's the first appearance of Mr. Terrific, and it's kind of cool because I mean, like, this was one of the comics I was searching for and just happened to find there. Never thinking I'd ever find one in the wild, at least. And I mean, and now he's gonna be in the next Superman movie, which is pretty cool as well, and just cool to see that just something from John Ostrander is getting a feature in the movie. Yeah. And so earlier I mentioned I like the comics based off the cartoons, and I also just like a little touch of the Silver Age in the sense of the weird and wacky plots. So I got Batman Gotham Adventures #26, and if you can see, Batman's got a baby. Apparently, this baby's very valuable. You've got ninjas, gangsters, the Russian mob, and all kinds of hitmen going after the baby. And Batman can't leave the baby alone, so he takes the baby with him on crime fight in Gotham City. And even at one point, he's on a bus where the driver has a heart attack, and he's driving the bus with the baby still in his hand, and it just wacky fun. There's even one point where he calls Alfred on for advice on how to change a diaper. So it's a lot of silly fun.
It's a real Batman situation happening there.
Reminds me of Nomad a little bit.
Yeah,
with a baby.
well, at least Nomad had the bright idea to wear a baby Bjorn or whatever he did.
Yes.
Yeah, because I mean, Batman is just holding him in his arm half the dang time.
I don't know if that makes it better, because that means Nomad had a plan to bring a baby into combat.
It was Lone
It was the
Wolf
90s.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was Lone Wolf and Cub.
Country. I understand.
What is the thought process? You have this baby, you just don't go home with it? Be like, nah, I'm gonna take the night off. No, I'm still gonna fight crime, do my job with this baby.
Nah, man, nose need matting.
So I've got one from my childhood. It's let's see, it's Donald Duck Adventures number 34. It's I'm not sure who wrote it, but it's a relatively recent comic. Art by Patrick Block, who I got to sign it, and even was kind enough to give me a little sketch of one of the Duck kids. And I got this from San Diego Comic-Con because I didn't know he was going to be there, and I was just so surprised to find him that I bought just a few copies he had, because my original copy I pretty much read it until it disintegrated, because for some reason, even though it's published by or imprint of Disney or whatever it is, the paper material is really fragile, almost newsprint like. But yeah, it's just great to have a fresher copy and to have it signed by the artist. And then let's see, right here I've got Bart Impulse. Bart Saved the Universe. It was one of my favorites growing up. Wally West I like, but Bart was more my guy when I was younger. I just obviously with ADHD, I could totally relate to the guy, and just and having his mentor Max just being exasperated with him, being unable to control this kid who would just run off in the middle of teaching him a lesson. And there's a bit of 90s in there too, where the villain Extent, what's his name, the hero Hulk that turned villain to Extent, is running wild, kills the JSA, goes back in time to kill the JSA. Impulse somehow gets back in time and has to find a way to stop him without dying himself. So it's just a nice little story of the underdog being able to take down the big dog.
And yeah, Impulse I think is a very underrated run. Do you have much of that run?
No, I honestly just kind of I prefer the Mark Waid run. That spoke to me more. After that was Messenger Lobes and Todd DeZago. I believe his name was. And there are some good stories in those runs, but never quite caught my attention as much as Mark Waid did, because Mark Waid had a bit of a balance. There's nice teenage, there's some, teenage, the struggles of growing up to be a teenager. Yeah. We find out that's where Max had a daughter he never knew about, because so what happened was Max Mercury is a speedster that also time jump, sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. But at one point, he lands in the 1930s. A nice couple find him and kind of nurse him back to health. And unfortunately, he grows to love the wife and has an affair with her, not knowing he also impregnated her. And then the husband finds out, and of course, that makes him just dodge out of town instead of owning up to his mistakes.
I mean, that's how it works.
Yeah. So he time jumps, finds out he has a daughter, moves specifically to be near her without letting her know, and so it just ends up a bit messy, because also the daughter doesn't know who he is and presumes that he's interested in her romantically, which makes things really awkward. Yeah.
And Steve is right. Time travel is confusing, but if you're going to read The Flash, you're going to read some time travel.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else for this round, buddy?
Oh, yeah. It's the last one. Deadshot number 1 by Crystal Gage. It's in my opinion, a very underrated comic. It's one of my first exposures to Deadshot, Floyd Lawton. It also features the first appearance of his daughter and his wife, or not ex-wife, but I guess his kid's mama, rather. And it's just a really good story. He faces off against Green Arrow and actually befriends him begrudgingly a little bit. But yeah, it's just a great story that I hope more people know about. It's I mean, if you like Gail Simone's Secret Six, this is also a great run to check out as well.
Yeah, it was a good
run. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. This is not new. This is something that I was hunting for last weekend to finish up, and this is all Eric's fault. So he got me. This is called Faculty Funnies, and it is the teachers from Archie get superpowers. So Miss Grundy can stretch. Somebody, I don't remember all their powers. They're stupid. And Mr. Weatherby, the principal, his power is awareness. So it's kind of like spider sense. And he'll say, my awareness is making me aware of. it's like somebody playing D&D and rolling for initiative or something.
Nat 20 every time.
Yeah. So in this one, like this guy that's dressed up like a calculator, they're running a camp, and he's so upset at the noise that the camp makes because he can't concentrate on his math that he creates this costume and fights them. And in the end, they just decide, or they just tell him, well, could we just be quieter? And he's like, yeah, that would work. And they're like, next time, just ask. And it's freeze frame. Like it's one of the worst things I've ever read. So of course I hunted down more. So I got issue 3, where I don't know, they're fighting creepy old man in his basement. And then issue 5 is sadly the last episode, or the last issue. So I only need 1 and 4, and I will have all the faculty funnies.
And we shall all envy you for it.
Yeah, you will, because it's another one. It's not the ferret, but people are going to catch faculty funnies fever. I cannot show you the inside of this book. This is, I picked it up at the convention. This is an R. Crumb sketchbook. I like R. Crumb as an artist, as an oddity, as a creator, and his sketches are very pornographic and interesting. There's a documentary about him that, if you've never seen it, is well worth watching. It's very bizarre, but he's very bizarre. He's just one of those artists that is a little weird, and the art that he creates goes up with it, or goes along with it. I am collecting the Defenders, and I didn't have this one, and I just thought this was an awesome cover. Doctor Strange, Valkyrie, and I just love the Silver Surfer in the foreground there. Hulk in the background looking like he wants to walk away. And I don't know what Hellcat's pose is about there. That is, her body shape is odd.
She just does a fast pitch.
Right? Yeah. This one, Hagan, you're the one. I wrote this down, and this is one I came across, and you said it was really good. They did not have issue 2, so they had issue 1, but I got issue 1. So now I have to track down the issue 2. Man, the interior art on this is gorgeous. I mean, Alex
phenomenal.
Ross. It is exactly what the Marvels was when it first came out. The way that art just popped, it's that same level. Not that he's not always good, but like there was a real wow factor to the art in this for me.
What did you think about the story?
I haven't read it. I just leafed through. I mean, I just got it on Sunday.
Okay, so you're a fake fan. I got it.
I'm not a fake fan. You told me to get it, and I wanted to check it out, and then I opened it up.
You're gonna hate this book.
Oh man, I will, and I'll have to fake it then, right? Like, oh, it was really good. I loved it.
You told me that you don't do that anymore.
I hate it when mom and dad fight.
He's like destitute with a fly on his head, and he's the embodiment of the United States. It's so sad. I got some Who's Who. I love these because they're wraparound covers. So I got Kronos through Cyclotron. I don't know who that is. This is the one. This is a George Perez cover. I got Dark Planet through Dr. Polaris. No, Doctor. What was that guy's name? Earlier, the Superman.
He's so popular, I've forgotten what he's called.
I know. Well, I don't want to be like everybody else. I can't even find it. Yeah,
something supernatural.
But yes, Dr. Supernatural.
Dr. Supernatural, yeah.
This one has Darkseid on it, which I think is awesome. Love Darkseid. Dawnstar. That can be a deep cut for Matt. And this one's awesome. This one has all of the Guardians of the Galaxy and a ton of Green Lanterns on it. I love the alien Green Lanterns.
I know that wraparound covers are a gimmick, but they work.
Yeah,
I really like them.
I mean, ones like that are really good literally make me want to have some of the clear backing boards so that I'm not missing it when I pick it up and look. I'm not going to show off all these because I mean I bought a stack, but I bought a ton of Warlords. So if you're only going to read one guy wearing chainmail barbarian book, you should probably read Conan. But if you're going to read 2, I think Warlord would be an acceptable runner-up.
The question is there a third?
Yeah, there's Cole the Conqueror, which I also collect. Yeah. So in this one, he's fighting a Russian jet because it's the 80s and everybody fought Russian jets. Something else that's cool about Warlord is he's always got hot sorceress ladies fighting over him. So in this one, they say to the survivor goes Warlord. So they'll fight to the death, and whoever wins gets Travis Morgan and his zebra loincloth.
As is the way.
If I had a nickel for every time I found myself in that situation.
You'd be dead.
I would be destitute.
I just like, I don't know. I like something about this like poker, Kenny Rogers know when to fold them kind of cover. I don't know.
The art on that Joker skull is really, really good.
So all of the covers and a lot of the issues are written by Mike Grell up to a point. Mike Grell does the art on all the covers. He does the art on several of the interior books as well. And yeah, he's good. See if I can. So then there's this cat that's like a shapeshifter, and she shows up all the time. She fights with him. This shirtless guy. There's a lot of shirtless guys. I mean, if you're gonna collect Warlord, you're gonna see some shirtless dudes and some magic. This cover, I think, is absolutely. I just love this one. This one looks. I think I have this one, but it's not like it. Mine's not in this good a shape. And yes, Matt said something in there about the helmet. Warlord's helmet is badass.
Those dark covers really pop.
And okay, this is my last Warlord to show off, and then I'm gonna pass it off. But Eric and I can't decide what's happening in this one. Is she a giant?
I think he's just standing behind her.
No, he's in front of her. I know. It's like, is this some kind of, Peter Jackson forced perspective Hobbit thing? I can't figure out what's going on. If she is a giant woman, only Warlord can tame her.
What is she crouched on is my question.
I don't know.
The joke is she's not wearing anything. She's just really hairy.
And that's the thing. Like, look at the fur on the boots and on the bikini. It is suspiciously curly whirly. It could just be.
Man, if that book came out 10 years later, it would have like a textured cover. It would be disgusting.
Scratch and sniff.
Yeah, good luck pressing and cleaning that.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Oh God. Okay.
I do have two more that I want to close out with, but I'm going to save those for like the very end.
Okay.
Hey, Phil. Yeah, okay, so that's funny. So Steven says, has Warlord run out of cartridges yet? The story with Warlord is he crashes into a hollow earth. He's a SR-71 Blackbird pilot, and he does have a gun, but he's only got as many bullets as he has in the gun, because when he's in the hollow earth, it's an ancient fantasy sorcery land. And so he's always talking about, I've only got 3 bullets left, or 3 cartridges. I actually liked that.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep. Thanks for that, Steve. Thanks for classing the joint up. Oh. All right. Hagan, show some books. Oh, there's Jab. We were just talking about you or backstage.
Yeah,
it was all good things.
You backstage.
Have fun at the game, brother.
Let's do this. So at that same comic book store where I got just the pure gold that I showed earlier, I also got these things. This is the only other comic book that I got there. This is Sergeant Rock number 14, guest starring the enemy Ace. And I got this for a couple different reasons. One, when I was a kid, I was enamored with this plane that's here on the cover. It's called the Tri-Fokker. F-O-K-K-E-R. It means 3 wings. I promise. And it's a German triplane from World War I. And I just thought this thing was super cool. I did like a 3rd grade project on the thing. And I just really, really liked it. The other reason is because it is a Sergeant Rock book, and I've talked about this briefly before, but my dad is an immigrant to this country. He was born in the Philippines, and he immigrated through the Navy. His dad, my Lolo, was a Navy vet, and one of the ways that he learned English was by reading Sergeant Rock comic books that he got. There you go, Stephen. I knew you were going to know that. But he read Sergeant Rock comic books that he got at the Stars and Stripes commissary, and that's how he taught himself English. That's how he learned English well enough to help my Lola, his mom, communicate with other people when they were fresh off the boat, so to say. So anytime that I find like an interesting Sergeant Rock comic, I will either get it for him or I'll keep it for myself. And that's one that I'm probably going to end up keeping for myself. I am a sports guy as much as I am a little bit less than I am a comics person. And this isn't a comic book, but I do think it's neat. This is an issue of Beckett Basketball Monthly, and this is the issue from September of 1991. And this is a very famous picture of Michael Jordan kissing the NBA Finals trophy. And so I am probably not going to keep this. This is probably going to go to a friend of mine. But I saw that for $3, and it's a magazine size, so I'm gonna buy it. I was also told, I don't know if Son of Crom is still in here, but I was told by, I think, Doug Botkin to start reading Conan. And I was looking through the stack of Conan, and I was trying to see one that appealed to me. And the one where he's slaying this like tentacle creature with this damsel in distress in the background, this is the one that called to me. I have not gotten a chance to read this yet, but I'm told that Conan isn't something where you have to start at number 1 and then go forward. You can kind of just slot in anywhere, and it's a big dude with a sharp thing, and you've kind of got it.
Yeah, that's my issue. I really want to start reading Conan, but I don't know where to start. And it's kind of overwhelming because there's so many different Conan books, especially now where there's different like there's like 3 or 4 titles ongoing right now of Conan. And so I'm like which one?
You said about things being infectious. Son of Crom's channel has made me want to know more and read Conan.
Yeah,
I'm right there with you. Like, and I look at it and I'm just like, ooh, this is overwhelming. But I really like that magazine. The look of the covers and.
The cool thing about it is that they're not expensive. Like the Conan magazines aren't expensive because it's in a magazine format. It doesn't have the like, this is a comic book tax that sometimes things get, because how many dollar books have you bought that should have been 25 cents? Or how many $5 books have you bought that should have been $1? Right. Mm-hmm. It's sort of that situation. So because it's in a magazine, people don't seem to gravitate towards it. But if you just want to get to know the character and you just want to see the art, they're great because they're huge and they tend to be cheaper. So I don't see anything wrong with that at all. But this is the very first Conan book that I've ever bought on purpose. I think I accidentally got one in a lot once, but yeah. And speaking of magazine format stuff, I have an affinity for Mad TV and Mad Magazine. I know that Nate does as well.
Yeah.
This is Mad congratulates Richard Nixon or Mad congratulates John F. Kennedy upon his election as president.
That is amazing.
Yeah, this is Mad issue number 60. It came out in January of 1961. Wow. And it's exactly what you think it is. I don't know if I'm going to go down the rabbit hole that is collecting Mad Magazine, but I can see that happening, if not as like an active goal, as a passive one, just as something that like, oh, I've got $5, I'll buy that, So there's that, and then this is one of my favorite finds. I have been looking for Christmas issues. So that I can put them up on my wall in December. And I found this. This is Christmas with the Superheroes the treasury-sized edition.
That
You've
is
got
massive.
Batman, Wonder Woman. Is that one of the guys from House of Secrets?
Nate looks like he's having a stroke.
I'm sorry, I didn't know this. I've never been so happy.
Yeah.
It's Cain. It's Cain or Abel.
Yeah.
I think
So
House of Mystery.
I don't know. I don't know who all of these people are, especially the two guys chilling at the back. I wish I did. I'm sorry.
Sandman and his sidekick Sandy.
And Sandy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I know.
There you go.
But yeah, with Superman holding the sleigh with Santa at the front of it, like this is exactly what I was looking for. This and like the Christmas with the superheroes where they're all sitting around opening up like Christmas presents and stuff.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Like I don't really care to just see like Spider-Man cover and throw a hat on him. Like I want like a Christmassy, like it has to be saccharine sweet. You know, I need to be able to smell the chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
And that Treasury edition, man, because when you read those, you feel like a kid because the proportions are right.
These are designed to be read while you are laying on your stomach drinking apple juice, and I intend to do that.
Yes.
Awesome.
I love that. I am going to have to track that down. How much did you pay for that, if you don't mind me?
I paid $15. I paid $15 for it.
I think that's more than fair.
I thought it was completely fair. Like, yeah, I mean, I have no qualms about that.
There was a big I think I showed you, Eric. There was a big bin of Treasury editions at the show we just went to, and I was flipping through them. They wanted $100 for some of them, and I just walked away. Like, there's no point in even talking to that guy.
Yeah, one of the larger, like one of the Treasury editions that I really want is the Superman versus Muhammad Ali.
Yes,
they just reprinted that. If you don't mind a facsimile.
I want the aura of the thing.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm what they call in the business a dumb whore. So, I found one at Heroes Con when I had Hagan's big day, but the guy wanted $150 for it, and like, while that's probably market value, it's just not my market value. I'm not paying that much for it.
No, go find a crappy copy.
Yeah, for sure.
For reading. All right, Jacob.
I've just got a couple, and they're modern, like they're like brand new books. That
we just like books around here, buddy. You know
that's what I have time to read lately. So it's new books, and the first one is, I guess it's lesser known. I haven't seen a whole lot about it. Anybody who knows me outside of the comic books and comic book community knows I'm huge on fantasy. I love fantasy. And medieval fantasy is really my thing. You know, one of my degrees is in, medieval history. And this book came out, Knights versus Samurai. And it is actually surprisingly really good. You know, for anybody who doesn't know, Knights and Samurai never met each other in history. It didn't happen. But this is a fantasy world. And how they adapt, the historical accuracies of how knights were and how, the kingdoms were, in England, because they use the actual, geography correctly. They blend that with fantasy because there's fantasy monsters and creatures, and the knight's mission of, spreading Christendom to the barbarous and the demonic samurai that they've discovered. This is a great setup, and it was a really fun read and a good story. In my opinion, this is how you start off a series because it sets the tone. It lets you know this is semi-realistic, but it's also fantastical, and
it may ends, be fanatical.
Yeah, it may be, but it ends in a way that makes you want to keep reading. Like the last page is sort of a cliffhanger, so you want to get the next issue, and that's exactly how first issues should be. You should end them with like, "Hey, I want the next book, and I want it now. I don't want to wait till next month." That's how it should be, and this is how it's done. And it was done really, really well. I'm looking forward to the second issue. But this came out, I want to say, this past week.
I was going to say, yeah, that one's brand new.
Yeah. And secondly, excuse me, I don't know how many Spawn fans are here in the chat, whatever. But I picked up Violator issue 1 of 6. It just came out last week too, It's a limited series, and this is a thick boy. It is. It barely fit into the comic, bag and board. It's a thick boy.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
That's why you get stretchy shirts.
Yeah.
But this was surprisingly good. Like surprisingly good. Like it tells the origin of Violator, and he started out as an angel, and it goes over the first war in heaven where he was separated, and it was just. This was surprisingly really well done. Like I expected it to be kind of like a B-list, kind of average book, being a spinoff of Spawn that's been, beaten into the ground lately. But this was so good for what it is, and again, it was done in a way where you want to read the next one. It was just I was very impressed with it, so I had to show it off.
All right.
So yeah, if you're interested in Spawn at all, this is a must-read, really, because
I was such a McFarlane buyer, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like in the 90s, anything he did, I wanted.
Yeah,
it's on the pad, okay? I might check it out. I might check it out.
I wrote down Knights versus Samurai because that sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, it was like I said, I didn't have high hopes for it at all. I'm used to being let down when it comes to stuff like that because I like Samurai, and of course Knights is my thing. But it was done in a way that I really, really enjoyed it. Like I said, it's written the way comic books should be written. The first issues, anyway. We'll see if that continues with the second, third, and fourth issues. But the first, for an issue number one, it's hard to beat.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that. I've heard people say that they really enjoyed it. Was that what are you done?
That's the only two. Yeah.
Okay, no worries. You got any more? Oh, you got a stack back there.
Yeah, I'll just stick it to three. But so this one is from as Nate, you told me you used to work at a comic shop. And this is one of the first comics I ever got from the comic shop. Just League of America 186. It's got Black Canary, The Flash, Elongated Man, and Batman versus the Shaggy Man.
The Shaggy Man.
Yeah, and definitely outpowered by the Shaggy Man, since he's pretty much one of those characters you can't beat the same way twice or something. And I never understood why he made a Sasquatch-looking creature, but whatever. But it was just a pretty cool story. Yeah.
Is he riding a missile? The missile's been launched.
Yeah, so it does. It'll play into the story where it's up to Batman to because the other characters are just not able to hold find a way to take him down. So Batman, what he does is he makes a decoy of himself, puts on a missile, and which attracts the Shaggy Man, and launches the missile out in space, and easy peasy. Yeah.
Sasquatch are instinctually drawn to Batman.
Yeah, of course. Next one I have is Superman 57. Superman and Man of Steel 57. It's got my first time I ever read a comic with Jay Garrick, the Flash, one of my favorite Flashes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a great story where this is around the era of Superman mullet. Lois Lane has broken off the engagement to Clark, and so he's a bit depressed. And to make matters worse, there's like a series of quite a few twisters heading towards Smallville, and it's up to Superman to protect everybody and try to unwind the twisters if he can. But there being like about 5 or so of them, Superman can only take down so many by himself, and he's starting to wane. Luckily, Jerry Garrick the Flash sees this on news, pops right in and shows how to do it old school, which is cool.
That's very cool.
And so, so I misspoke earlier. This was actually my first buy. This comic here will be my first buy from a comic shop. And I didn't know the significance of it. I only bought it because I like Robin, and I didn't really know much about the other characters. But it's New Teen Titans #1. It's not in the best shape, but it's just a happy buy from something I didn't realize until much later. I realized how important it was. I just pretty much like it just because there's a tiger and Robin, and of course I would grow to know him better throughout I think it wasn't until like the Teen Titans cartoon that came out in the 2000s that I grew to be more appreciative and more familiar with the characters. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
To be
But
clear,
that's
though,
it.
because there's a tiger on the cover is a perfectly legitimate reason for buying a comic book.
Exactly. I mean, that's how I got into
100%.
Kevin Hobbs. Yeah.
We are the
100%.
opposite of gatekeepers here.
Well, we are coming up on an hour. I do want to show 2 more books, though, to close it out. I did promise I would show a grail. So, and I did. I picked up a major grail at this show over the weekend. But before I do that, I want to complain about this. This is one of the worst things. I was so excited to get this, and I read it, and it's one of the worst things I've ever read. This is Dazzler the movie, Marvel graphic novel number 12. I can't even tell you all the things that are wrong with this. It is so bad, it's not even funny. Well, no, you know what? It's so bad it is funny. It starts off like this. So Allison Blair Dazzler is she's an exercise person at an LA club or something. The art in this is actually like not the worst thing I've ever seen. But it really does it does read like a movie from the 80s if they said, we're going to make a movie about a superhero, but we don't have money for special effects or costumes, because she never wears her costume. She hardly ever uses her powers. She falls in love. So there's this guy who's like a Frank Sinatra type. He's like 60 years old, and he wears a toupee, and he wears a girdle, and he's big and fat, and he's a piece of crap. And he like follows her around and harangues her. And then eventually she falls in love with him. It's like so terrible for her character. Let's see. Oh, there's no nudity, but there's definitely some implied Dazzler glowing nudity. Mm-hmm. And at one point she does use her powers in kind of a cool way. They have all these jets on a tarmac, and they're all ramped up as much as they can. And of course she has to wear a bikini so that everyone can see that she's not concealing any devices. And with all these jets, she actually drowns out she absorbs so much sound that nobody can hear anything. It's completely silent in this airport. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And that's the only thing I can say is kind of cool. This thing goes on and on. They're making a Dazzler movie. She's the star of it because she's not married, but she's with this Hollywood sleazeball. And then it just kind of ends. And at the end, she just kind of walks off into the sunset. It was so bad. I think it was an actual movie script that they wrote and couldn't get made. And so they did it. It was written by Jim Shooter, and he has a lot of explaining to do. This is just so misogynistic and terrible. I don't know. I don't know what this is. This never appears in the book. Was this a costume design that was failed? I don't know. So Eric found this. He's like, do you have this? I was like, well, hell no, I don't, but now I do. And it was $15. And I was glad to pay it because I'd never seen it. And then I found it at another booth later for $5. And I was like, I'm sure it's awesome.
You were so excited when you found that too.
I was so excited. So
when you cracked the cover open, dust came out and you heard a voice, abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
At least you didn't. There weren't 15 issues and you bought all 15 like I did of the Iliad.
But to be fair, if that was made into a movie, it would be perfect for the 20th century Fox Marvel era. It would have been just like something like Elektra.
Yeah, it was bad. And Steven, I can't explain my Dazzler love. I like absurdity. And as a superhero, I just don't feel like it gets much more absurd. Hence, my grail is a real copy, not a facsimile, of Uncanny X-Men, issue number 130, the first appearance of Dazzler. I saw this in 2 or 3 booths. $200, $150. This copy, it's a newsstand copy that is in terrible, terrible shape. It's very hard to show, but there's major spine wear. There's even some missing. There's a couple of holes where chips have come off. I do not care. I paid $20 for this. It's probably a 2.0 $20 copy. I finally have an original. I can my run is almost complete. And along with the run, I always want to have that first appearance that I can put down. So I don't have the run done yet, but I do have this. I can't remember who did the cover for this. But it's a cover I've always really liked. And I mean, just besides liking Dazzler, the fact that when they redo the headdress as a disco head, trade dress as a disco ball with all the lights on it, I just think is so cool. So this was a book I've hunted for a while, and I couldn't
didn't
believe
even notice that until you said it.
I couldn't. Yeah. Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
I mean, I love when they do stuff like that, and the fact that they did it on one I'm hunting down. So I was really excited to get that. And I didn't think it was even a remote possibility, because I don't know, that book's still stupid through the roof.
There's a copy of that I've been staring at one of my comic book stores. It's $130, and I was like, if I win a scratchy lottery that I don't play, I will get that for Nate and send it to him.
Well,
I knew that you weren't going to buy a $130 copy of that book. So I was waiting to see if I could find something like behind a dumpster or in a shoebox
right.
or something.
I mean, my dream price for a decent copy was like $80. I felt like, but what I consider an $80 copy, most people consider $120, $150 copy. And I just, I'm sorry, there's too many of that book, an 80s X-Men. There are too many of those out there. So that's not something that I'm willing to pay like a FOMO premium on. At least not, I am, because I paid $20 for a beat up one, and that's FOMO premium there too. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be out.
It's less high stakes FOMO premium.
Yeah.
But now that like you have the thing and you've checked the box off, like if you want another copy later, you can get it, but you have the thing.
Right. I can trade up if that price is right, if that price is fair to me. Oh my God, breaking news on the ferret.
I was about to say, Matt is still talking about the ferret.
He's the former Washington, D.C. police commissioner dismissed on an excessive force charge. The ferret.
The ferret.
Is that like a legit backstory?
I'm sure Matt does not trade in false lore.
Yeah, no. Matt has been poring over internet archives and manuscript, and I'm sure he's been sent messenger pigeons about this thing.
See, here's the thing. If the commissioner got dismissed for excessive force, what was going on? Because commissioners don't do anything. They sit in the office. Like, what did he do? Throw a pencil at somebody?
The mayor's been all over my ass about you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need my gun and my badge.
Look, I got news for you, Renegade. Everybody loves the ferret now.
We're now all going to be reading this book. Like, I have to read it now.
Look, right after this, I'm getting on my comic.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna see if I can find a run on eBay and snake it before one of you bastards does.
Oh, I'm gonna get on there as soon as we get off. So
I'm gonna leave this stream running. That is funny. Big gosh. Nasty, thank you for watching. Everybody who was in the chat, thank you for being here. We had pretty good turnout again. It was like 14, 15 people at one point. Chat was on fire with the jokes and the classiness as always. So thank you everybody for being here. Anybody got anything coming up they want to talk about before we go? No, we're boring.
Yeah, yes. I'm pretty boring.
I mean, I've got so he was in here earlier. I'll talk about this really quick. This is a package that I got from J&B's Expensive Paper. They are a visual comic book podcast. They do a bunch of cool stuff over on their channel, and they were running a giveaway because one of their videos crossed, I think it was 1,000 views. And so they wanted to give a mystery box away, and it's a mystery box that they ordered, and I won, and they sent it to me, and I haven't opened it yet. So that's going to be a video. And I'm also going to do a video of probably the top 5 stupidest books in my collection. And you can bet your sweet tookus that the ferret's going to be on it. So stay tuned for that. Same bat time, same bat channel.
The return of the ferret.
Could it not? Yes, and Mr. Akins is right. On Thursday, I will be on 22 Comics channel. I'm following my friend Hagan. being interviewed for Comics Uncensored, which looks like a lot of fun. Seems like you had fun when you were on there. I've been watching. He does that every Thursday. So I've been checking those out. So I'm actually really excited. That's what I get to do tomorrow is like put this room back together and pull out all the books that I want to show on there for what he's asked for.
He's a great interviewer.
He really is. Like, I mean, his channel, and he does that the top 10 alternatives. I like that one too, that where he goes through the expensive books and says, get this one instead. Matt, that's why I miss doing this so much. Like, I just laugh. I don't know. I have a blast. I don't think any other comic book show is going to give you the laugh per minute that we do, showing off books like The Ferret or complaining about the Dazzler movie. It's
especially now moving forward, I'm going to try and find books to make jokes about.
Right.
I brought nothing but serious books today. And I'm like, Hagan just dropped bombs of great comic books. I'm like, man, I'm coming in with the Violator #1. And he's got the Ferret.
That's the thing, is that I didn't search them out. They just come to me, and I love them.
I wrote down the Violator and Knights versus. You brought books I'm interested in too, dude.
But there needs to be a balance. Some sweet and then some sour.
Yeah, your yin needs to be in my yang. We know how these things work.
This is a family friendly show.
It used to be. Well, all right, everybody in the chat, thank you for being here. Half of these guys in the chat have channels you should be watching if you're not. Just a fantastic group of people that I feel very privileged to be a part of. So I appreciate everybody for being here. I appreciate everybody for watching. If you're watching the replay, drop us a comment and say hey, and please check out anybody who you can. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. We'll talk to everybody later. It just takes a minute. So if you just sit here and